Hi everyone, and welcome to another daily creative coding video. And so I want to show off a thing in Hydra that is, I feel like, one of the less well documented features, which is the fact that you can use images and I think also video as sources for textures. So, again, this isn't something I see people do very often, but it is actually possible, and I found reference to it in only like one place in documentation. But let's see if we can popularize it, because as someone who likes photography, I would love to actually take some of the photography I've done and do some weird art in Hydra with it. Now, I'm not using my own photography here, because a lot of what I have handy at the moment is stuff I did at a, basically at a, was it called a, I'm forgetting the name of the kind of place, but basically a place where remains are stored, and as a part of like a memorial for the dead. And anyway, so it doesn't seem super respectful to use that for just playing, even though I have used some of the photos I've taken with that and for art pieces. So anyways, instead we're just using a photo of a moth from Wiki Commons, because that, you know, it's Creative Commons licensed, and so you can see the link here. So we've got the attribution, and let's get on with it. So basically, what you need to do is initialize a source with the image texture. And so in that case, we're just using S0. You can also have S0 like initialize the webcam. And like I said, I'm pretty sure we can also take pre-recorded video, and maybe I'll do that soon. I could take some little throwaway videos of my part of Portland and see if we can do something interesting with that. But you can even just initialize it with the URL, right? And then, so what we're doing is we're just piping it directly to the output buffer. Okay, so it's not interesting, right? But from here, let's try seeing if we can do something. So start as I often do with just like a really simple oscillator. And so doing that diff means we've got the, you know, some color inversion happening, which is always fun. But now let's see. Let's try creating a moving shape that's almost like a window in. So that would be, we would do a mask, and then what we would do is we would do like a shape. Let's make it a pentagon, and we can do shape and dot scroll X, and let's make it go the opposite direction. So let's do -0.2 so that they're out of sync with each other. Okay, so this should work. Okay. But I think we want to make that bigger, and actually maybe make it slower rather than faster. Scale, gosh, let's say 1.5. Alright, so from here, okay, we've got this pentagon acting as a little window into our texture. So that's cool. Now what happens if we get silly and, I don't know, let's try let's try something like modulate hue of, and what yeah, right, what I want to take here is not the initial image as a buffer. I want to take the output for feedbacky reasons. So let's try that. Okay, we can kind of see it's doing some stuff to the actual texture of the moth. If we pump that up a little. Then let's also say, let's set this rotating. See what that does. Okay, you can kind of see, it's a little subtle, but you can kind of see some of the distortions traveling around. And it is rotating, though, kind of subtly, so let's try turning up the effect a bit, seeing if it's more obvious what's happening. Okay, there. You can kind of see that. And, oh, that's part of the problem. So I think, wait, is that right? Yeah, no, that's all fine. Let's also try doing scale. See the waves of distortion moving around. Okay, so enough with that. Let's see if there's any other sort of fun things we can be doing. Let's try mult instead of mask. I'm always kind of curious what the difference is. Or we could actually blend. And we could change the color of this to be, oh my goodness, I don't know. Zeros, 0, 20, and dot hue of. Let's see what that does. Because honestly, I don't have good intuition for this yet, but oh, it's kind of just wiping everything out. I can sort of see. That's okay. At least kind of like that. Okay. And we can also have the other oscillator going up instead. And maybe rather than, maybe we can also get rid of this blend at this point, because I don't know if it's doing anything super interesting. But we could, on the other hand, if we actually blended a noise that we've multiplied by a gradient. Make the speed of the gradient something non-trivial. Okay. All right. Cool. I'm starting to get more like weird distortions of this little moth. I think I'm also going to do a thing of seeing what happens if I downscale the moth a little. Ah, okay, that's kind of what I feared, is that it was not necessarily going to work super great, although, I don't know, maybe that's not so bad. I think I would have needed to, like, mask it by a square in order to make this do that. But that's okay. In fact, actually, let's see what happens if we... Yeah, okay, we get sort of this repeating effect. Kind of... We've got it now wavering a lot more, I think, because of the modulate hue. Which is cool. What else can we do with an image like this? Well, let me see. So if I were doing this in something like punctual, right, the estuary sublanguage that lets you do images. Basically, it's almost like you can do very shader-like per pixel coding, right? And it's kind of cool. And in that, if I wanted to really be fussy around, I would like remap the coordinate system to do something goofy. I don't know if that's what I should do here, but what I could always do is, let's see what happens if I do something like, if I take, no, that's not what I want to do. I want to do diff of, I also want to do a diff of pixelate of the source image. And this should give us something kind of neat, I think. Yep. Because now, like, the image diff with itself should, if my intuition is correct, give us, like, nothing, right? It should just give us emptiness, because you're subtracting a thing from itself on a per pixel basis. But if we do the pixelate, then we're taking, like, almost like neighborhoods. So, yeah, instead we get this thing where the moth is, like, has, like, weird transparent boundaries now because it has emptiness that is blending with the noise. And but it's not entirely right because you're subtracting neighborhoods now. And if the larger I make the pixels, I mean the smaller I make the pixels, the closer to completely empty it should be. Yeah, like more empty space, but it's still kind of a fun effect. And if I make it like really coarse grained, yeah, we should see more of the moth still there in the pixelated version. If we also wanted to be really silly, I think we could do posterize and like bin not just spatially but like bin in terms of colors as well, and then that also makes the diff sort of less effective but maybe like more interesting. We make the, yeah, and so we sort of regain more of the image back. I'm not like a big fan of what the colors are doing at the moment, so bloop. What do I want to do about that? I could do like a hue shift, and then we could just get kind of a different spectra here that it cycles through. I think I like that better. And just let me see. And now I think is the part of the show where I want to see what happens if I just start completely trying to break this. So And what's the easiest way to do that? You start modulating something by itself. So what if we just do it by the source image? What does that do? Okay, that's actually sort of awesome. That's actually cooler than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, okay, that's actually kind of fun. But let's see instead what happens if, let's make it scale over time. And so math.sign of, what? Hey kids, remember what we have to do? We have to make this a lambda abstraction. Okay. Let's do time divided by 10, so that's kind of slowish. I really wish I had a range function like what Title uses and what Sinicero uses, because that's always really good for remapping. Yeah, let's say scale plus 1.5 or 1.15, sure. So then that'll go from 0.15 to 2.15, which is perfectly reasonable. Okay, so let's try that. It only works if you include enough parentheses. Okay. Cool. Okay, I got this one. It's a very like what's the name of that old mode on the Super Nintendo chip? Mode 7, right? It's a very like Mode 7 looking kind of scaling. It's kind of fun though. It feels like we've sort of completely deconstructed this image of a moth into a bunch of just pixelated color mess, which I mean obviously is how I like it. It's going to reach like its smallest peak and then zoom back out again. Cool. Let's increase the modulation amount and see what that does. Oof. Oh, that's just... This is a real, my god, it's full of stars kind of moment, if you ask me. Yikes. But in a fun yikes, maybe? And let's see what happens if I also do another modulate collide. But this time we're going to use the whole thing for the modulation. And madness. Okay. Just complete staticky madness. Yep, we're just creating some real closed eye visuals here. This is the part where you just sort of let it wash over you till you're feeling more lucid again. No, that's fun. And this is just a picture of a moth. It's a picture of a moth completely deconstructed into pixel, per pixel absurdity. So that seems good as place if any to stop this and stop all this nonsense at once. And then we'll probably come back next video and we'll either do more Hydra, or I might start doing estuary and punctual. We'll see, or doing stuff with like Sinicero. Yeah, we'll see. Either way, there'll be another creative coding video tomorrow, and until then, take care.